Hi, and welcome back to Dance with Mary NYC. I'm super excited about this month's segment. I've got with me master teacher Leslie Browne. Hi, Leslie.
Hello.
Leslie is a teacher at the School at Steps and also ABT JKO summer program.
Yes.
Right, and I've actually known her for a long time. I admired your dancing.
Thank you.
And you may also know Leslie from the movie The Turning Point. Right?
Years ago.
Yeah, but if you don't know it, look it up. It's the most amazing movie ever.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I've been actually a fan of yours. I have to tell you this, when I first was around you, this was at David Howard's old studio, I was so starstruck, I couldn't even speak to her because I used to watch that movie religiously.
Oh, you're so sweet.
But it's
Thank
the truth,
you.
it's the truth. So I'm very lucky, as I always say, I'm super lucky that I have the most wonderful friends and colleagues here in New York City, and I'm really happy that I get to share this with everyone. Leslie, I want to talk about when you work with advanced dancers or intermediate to advanced, and we had been kind of chatting on our own. I thought it was very interesting that you said all levels, even intermediate, advanced, up to professional, have to work on the basics.
Yes, because when they get into the advanced class, they know a lot of vocabulary already, but there's a lot more because ballet has an endless amount of steps to learn. But the thing is, at that point, they know how to do a lot of steps and they just want to do them. They want to dance. You know, they've been working, you know, in the lower levels on little, you know, placement stuff and this and that. But you always have to work on that. And that's the hard thing, to get them to understand that you're not ready to just go and do a bunch of fortes and, you know, fall off and then try to get up. And you have to still get down to the basics and placement and keep building that foundation, which is a layering. For me, it's a layering process. It's like you have to get the placement, you know, exactly where you want it. It's like building a building. You have to put the metal frame up first before you can put the plaster around it and put the house in, which is the movement. For me, that's the movement. The structure is the placement, so you get everything lined up properly, and then the movement happens around that. But a lot of the kids, they don't have that basic foundation, and then they try to move and everything falls apart, and their legs fall out from under them, they can't turn, and that's why. And it's really all about that, and setting the body up in the proper alignment.
It's harder to work with sort of those hypermobile bodies.
Yes.
Right? You have a hypermobile body.
I did, and I have a student that's very hypermobile, and she'll be able to get her leg up. In fact, we're going to meet her.
We're gonna look at her a little later.
She has a huge extension, can bend back and touch her head to here, and feet like this. However, the difficulty that comes with that is building strength, especially in the middle areas, where it's maybe harder for her to hold her leg than to get it up high. And those areas are the most important, because that's where a lot of the technique happens. You know, arabesque turn, al-second turn, pirouette.
Right, nobody's doing the arabesque turn way up here, or al-second. It's always usually about 90.
And then when you get to the center, you have to make développé. You have to go through those middle positions to get the leg up and be able to hold it. So what happens is they can do it at the bar, or they can do it when they're stretching, but when they get to the center, they don't have the stability or the strength in the standing leg to support the développé.
So you just really emphasize just working strength, getting the strength through the legs, strength through the body.
And working on the standing leg, not this leg going up here, but how is this side, the side that you're standing on, how is that placed? That's the most important thing. Because if you're off your leg, and this is another thing that kids do a lot, is they lift their hip, you know, and they pull off their standing leg. How can you expect that leg to support you in the center and stand on it and balance and turn on it when you're pulling on it?
Right, it's like your foundation is
stressing it
crooked.
out. But you're stressing out that poor leg, you're pulling on it. You know, you got to leave that leg straight underneath you with no pressure pulling off of it. You know, and that's another thing that's very hard to get kids to do, is to keep that hip down when they make passe or développé, any kind of grand battement, that hip, you know, and then everything tilts, and also to keep the spine straight. That's another thing. In arabesque, this tilting arabesque thing, it's like a disease. It's like every kid that I teach for the first time has a crooked arabesque. I just don't understand
Right,
that
like
at
they're
all.
looking at the leg that's going up rather than
Yeah.
thinking about.
Yeah, and then the higher they get the leg, the more they tilt instead of, this side has to grow with the leg. So every time you lift the leg a little bit, the standing side has to stretch. You know, you can't just keep lifting this leg and not work the opposite side of the torso. What I do is I get the placement. I work on combinations that just work on the placement stuff, you know, and then they get that really hammered in their body. Then you give fast stuff with that. So you make them do it faster, but keep that, you know. Then you make them do stuff where they have to hold the leg, you know, for strength. But it's all working on keeping that same placement, but you do a diversity of movement quality, holding on to that same placement. So one time you'll do slow tendu, you know, keeping that until they get that. Then when that's really solid and all the spine is straight and the hips are in alignment, then you make them do it fast. Then you make them maybe hold, you know, so they build the strength, that kind of thing, you know. And then you will make them do like movement, like more like soutenu and this, and you know, just ramp up the movement so they're dancing more, but then they have to hold the placement. So, you know, it's like you can't work on everything at once.
Right.
But so you have to work on the placement one day, and then you work on maybe strength building in that placement, or moving that placement around and keeping the placement. So they have to move and hang on to the placement. So that will be a focus of a whole class. So that means at the bar, you give more moving steps at the bar, like soutenus and pirouettes, and instead of just développé hold.
So you give pirouettes at the bar?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Now you had also said something, we talked about grand plie.
Yes.
Like one of the first maneuvers you do besides demi-plie, grand
Yeah.
plie, and you said that
That's
that
a
was...
real pet peeve of mine,
Yeah.
because that's the first thing you do setting up the body, and everybody leans forward in
Right.
the grand plie.
I always say to the little ones, I'm like, your po-po's out.
Yeah, the back is supposed to be straight to the floor in grand plie.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be leaning here and then leaning forward to come up. It's straight down, the legs are in front of you rotating, and then you come and stopping in the demi-plie on the way up. That's the other thing that I don't see. They do grand plie and they come straight up to the plie.
Right,
No,
so
they
not
have to
working.
Stop in the demi-plie and then open up. There's
Okay.
a moment that going down demi-plie, then grand plie, and then also the timing of the arm. The girls will go grand plie, the arm will be down, they'll start up without the arm. That's an easier way to do it. You have to start up with the arm. It's
Because the
harder.
timing of the arms.
It's harder. It
Yeah.
builds more core strength when you bring the arm up with the coming up instead of leaving the arm down and then bringing the arm up. See, that's a lot easier. So you build your house, you put the structure in, you put the framework, then you put the rest on top of it, all the movement, all the style. You know, you put it over the framework. You don't change it. You know, if you're going to put style in and all the arms and the port-de-bras, you still have to maintain the placement. So that's what I meant when I, you know, will give a class maybe just really working on adding the port-de-bras over the placement so that you don't dance like this. You know, I'm holding on to my placement, but I can't move. You know, so you have to, so then, you know, you always have to go back to that placement. You can never stop working on that because it always going to need, you're going to learn a harder step. Okay, so as you learn a harder step, what goes? What's the first thing that goes is your placement. So instead of doing pirouette, you're going to do pirouette fouette. All right, what's the first thing that's going to go? Everything's going to go placement. So then you have to go back and you have to repair your placement, learning the new. If you add an addition onto the home, right, you have to build the structure again. You can't just...
See, I think that's a great way to put it. I
You
think
can't just stick a room there. You have to start from scratch.
that's perfect. I mean, not in New York. We only have apartments in New York, but outside
Yeah.
of New York,
So I look at it always like a building, you
Yeah.
know, and if you add a harder step, you got to start from scratch. You got to go back to the placement again, you know.
So I was wondering if we could demonstrate a few of those things we're talking about.
So this is my student Nicole, and she's my hypermobile student. And I wanted to show her an exercise for her feet because she has such big arches, which is also part of being hypermobile. They tend to be loose and she tends to sickle this way. So I'm going to show her an exercise. So you can tie something around the ankle here, or you can just hold it together yourself. And you're going to start in the point position and you're going to do demi, flex, demi, point. That's it. And you're going to keep those ankles together. And again, demi and a flex, and a demi and a point, and a demi and a flex, and a demi and a point. And where do you feel that?
In my calves and the side.
Exactly. So she'll feel it and get a little sore in the areas that are weak, that are keeping her ankle from holding in a stable position. That would be wandering around like this. So that's how you build up those muscles and training the feet to stay in the proper position. Then you repeat that when she's standing on demi-point and then also in pointe shoes. Okay, so I'm going to show the exercise for the ankles, the stability of the ankles when you have very arched feet, but they tend to sickle. So she's going to do the same thing now, and you can also do it on demi-point. We're going to do it on the point. So we're going to go to demi-point, demi-point, and point, and keep the ankles together, and go through the demi-point and lower down. And then repeat, and demi-point, and point, and demi-point, and down. And then you can also do it with a roll-up, plie, roll up. That's it, and just take a balance there with the ankles together. That's good. And you just repeat that over and over again till your feet get tired, and then you stop, and then you do another section. So that's a very good exercise for that. Now, let's talk about placement a little bit. So what I was talking about earlier about hip placement and the hips going up. So let's just take a sous-sus. So right foot front, plie, that's right. And plie sous-sus, draw the feet together. That's it. And as you can see, she's got these beautiful arched feet. And now make the passe. That's right. Now, what a lot of times the dancers will do, lift that hip. Yep, they'll lift that hip in an attempt to pull up on this side. And that is not good, because then you're pulling off your standing leg. You want to get the hip down and then be able to pull up on this side. That's it. And then you have your passe, and you also don't want to be twisting off that leg. You have to allow this leg to go straight down underneath you. Don't pull on it. It's got to hold you up. All right, put the leg down and come down and rest. Yes, now let's look at your port de bras back. So put one hand on the bar, yeah, and stand in first position. That's right. Now go all the way back in your port de bras back. And there we have her very, very supple back and come up. However, she likes to do that port de bras no matter what port de bras we do in class, and always go to her maximum. And that's not strength building for the core, to just go to your maximum. So now just go pull up and just go halfway down. Pull up and go halfway. Hold, hold, and then come up again. And even that was far, so you want to even go a little bit less than that. One more time. Pull up, and keep pulling up as you go back. Keep pulling up, pull up, stop, stop, and come back. So that's, so you want to work on that area, because that's the harder area for you than to just let it go all the way back there. All right, now let's look at your développé side. Face the bar. That's right. Now, go up on point, plie sous-sus. Now take a very high développé. Yeah, you can do that leg. Développé all the way up. Yep, so that's a very good extension. Now, look at the bottom leg though. Put your foot back down. Yeah, so that she has the ability to get her leg up, but the standing leg is twisted. She's pulling on it. So bring your leg down a little bit lower and really work on that side. Go, passe, keep that leg, keep it. Don't pull on that leg. That's better. Yeah, and now bring the leg back down. And that's the difference between just going for the full extension and sacrificing this leg, which when she gets in the center and she's going to try to do a développé, she's going to be falling. Yeah, so that's another one of my pet peeves there. Now come down, rest. All right, let's do arabesque. Okay, so face there. Let's actually face a diagonal. So face this way, and you're going to piqué, no, you're going to piqué onto this leg. Yeah, and piqué to arabesque. Yeah, now, this is, yeah, she's got a very nice high arabesque there. You can see that's very good, but the leg is out to the side and she's a little crooked. So the leg is out here and she's like that. So you want to get the leg, go to fifth position, sous-sus up. The main thing is to keep the spine straight. So face the camera. Yeah, you want to keep the spine straight. Yeah, you don't want to go lift this back leg and lift this hip and lean over to the side. Yeah, so that's basically what a lot of arabesques look like. And what needs to happen is this leg has to stay in 5th position. Yeah, so that leg's got to go straight back, and go straight forward over the leg. That's it. So that the leg is right behind you and there. And then bring the leg down. Okay, so that's another issue that drives me crazy, but that, you know, I like to work on, especially since she is so flexible and she can get her leg up no matter where she puts her back. But then she gets in the center, we do Arabesque Pirouette, or if you try to do a promenade with a guy, a one-handed promenade, you know what that's like. Yeah, and then you fall. You're not able to hold the position because the spine is leaning over to the side. So that's very important that you start working on that at the bar, that you keep that, then you have your back straight, then you release the leg up, but you've got to maintain that, then you can do your promenade. You can do your pirouette, whatever else you need to do. Good, thank you.
I just want to say thank you so much to Leslie Browne today, and I also want to say thank you to Nicole. Thanks for helping us out. I think you did great. And as always, please subscribe, leave your comments below, and don't forget to like us. And we're also going to give you information. Leslie is available for master classes, guest teaching, and consultations.